It's shocking, no matter how it's said. I mean, this is not something we should. I guess my biggest problem is the word ethics with the organization. If the charitable reviews council doesn't have ethics, how are they doing their reviews?
It's ethics, it's integrity, and I don't know. And now that this is out in the open, you wonder why donors should trust, the Charitable Review Council. It's one thing for them to say, "Gee, I was never informed about this. Thank you very much for letting us know." It's quite another thing that after they are informed about it, they do nothing and continue to recommend them. It's really beyond belief. And I can't say, I don't get it. If you ask me, why do they continue to do that? Why do they continue to recommend them? Why are they ignoring everything I say? I'd only be surmising. And,
So what do you recommend that the listeners and the viewers do? Because there's got to be some way that we can help.
Right. So there is. The more the Charity Review Council hears from people, from organizations, that they read the article or that they heard about this and they want to do something about it, the more they hear from them, the more they hear from us, the more pressure they'll have, that comes to bear, and so they may do something about it. And if you go, I can tell you, there's a let's see here, her email is chris@smartgivers.org. KRIS at smartgivers, one word, .org. And then there's also a board member that you may want to contact. Her name is Megan Getz, and she can be contacted at Megan, MEGAN, at Mobius Group MN. I'll spell that off for you. So it's MEGAN at MOBIUSGROUPMN.com. So if you would, if everybody would just email them, tell them that you agree that care should be taken off, and it really is a disgrace that they're still recommending an organization that's anti-Semitic and with ties to terrorism as an organization that donors should donate to.
And not to mention that they don't consistently report unless they get punished. This is crazy.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling how they're, I don't know. You know what, by the way, I wanted to mention something else, which is really, it just shows you how they don't do their basic due diligence. Are you familiar with GuideStar?
Yes.
So GuideStar is it's a website, and you can get a lot of information about every organization, every tax-exempt organization. It gives you a lot of information about them, where they are, what they do, the tax-exempt number.
I actually use them, so yes.
So if you go to the GuideStar link to Care Pennsylvania, you'll be amazed at what you'll find. You go to that link, and then you scroll down a little bit, and you come to another link. And that link actually links you to Stephen Emerson's investigative project organization. You click on that, and you actually see all the things about that Stephen Emerson discovered. Well, mostly people like you and I know about care. It tells us about how they're involved with how the FBI cut their relations with them. It talks about how they were co-conspirators in the Holy Land Foundation federal case. But this is actually on the GuideStar website, and you would think that an organization like Charities Review Council would do the basic research.
That says they're not even looking at.
Right there.
You can't even be. There's no research being done. Holy cow! Wow.
It's right there. It's right in front. Now, do they look at that and say, "Yeah, we don't care. We're gonna recommend them anyway," or they just didn't do it? I think they just didn't do it. I
It,
don't
it
think they do
sounds
it.
to me like they either get paid to not do it, or they just are too lazy to do any work. It
Yeah.
sounds pretty bad.
Well, even if they were, and that's bad in itself. But once they're informed about it, there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse.
Yes. Well, thank you, Len, for joining me. I think you've exposed the
It's
name
frustrating.
is almost an oxymoron. Charities review,
What do they
and they
review?
don't review.
They don't review anything. What do they review?
Oh boy. I hope the people out there listening can think about what a joke of a name an organization is when you don't do what you claim in your name.
What are they reviewing? Exactly.
Uh,
What are they reviewing? They're just allowing the organization to tell them all about themselves, and they accept it at face value.
well,
That's not
while
being
I have you here, I do want to remind people that Len is one of those people um, who really does go out and do the work. Len and I worked together on a project 2 years ago now.
not that.
Wow, I
Yeah.
can't believe this is 2 years old, or a year and a half old at the very least. I just went back and looked at the article you wrote on colleges and how we used to go, how we should be reporting colleges for promoting propaganda.
Right.
Um, and you and I worked on a project on the Georgetown University,
Right.
and still they haven't had their nonprofit status revoked.
No, it was you and I worked. You and I and other people also worked long
Mhm.
and hard
Yeah,
at putting together that referral to the IRS, explaining to them how they are failing their tax exempt status with regard to as being an educational facility. Um, we explained to them how they failed it and where they violated it, and we gave them specific criteria, specific evidence, and how they're failing it. And it was, I think it was like 80 pages.
yeah. I think you're exactly right. It was just about exactly 80 pages,
Yeah,
and it was very, very specific stuff, and there were footnotes and citations and everything. And
yeah, it was very
I
well
mean, I
done.
know they don't have to respond to us,
No,
and I think maybe that is one of the things that maybe needs to change.
well, the interesting thing is, IRS can't disclose um, their decisions, and they can't disclose um, information about other taxpayers, which is understandable. You won't want them to disclose your record or my tax records. The thing about the Georgetown is that we were after there was a website that we were specifically going after. The name actually escapes me.
Bridges.
Bridges. That's right. Bridget. Right. So the website is out there. So it's very clear. You can just go in there, and if they still exist, the IRS has done nothing about it.
Yes.
Nothing. You don't have to ask them. They know they've done nothing.
I think that's the shock for me that I mean, having been an educator, I mean, retired from teaching, to me that again, we're talking about organizations. This is the interesting thing for both of them. They go together because we're talking about unethical organizations that this one claims to be ethical in how it teaches, but yet it's using propaganda and misinformation to teach students.
And
And
unfortunately,
that's scary.
the students just don't know that they're being given a fistful of lies. They don't have
Yes.
the will, they don't have the education, the background, they just accept it. And that's tragic. It doesn't bode well for our future.
That is incredibly true. Len, I want to say thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely have to have you back in the near future. God bless.
Always a pleasure to be here, Paul. Thank you very much for having me.